Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, LCK Spring 2018. ROX Tigers look damn clean as they dispatched KSV in what was 35 minutes of just pretty calculated play.
Even though a lot of their members dealt less damage than their opposite numbers, the Olaf accepted. It didn't matter because they were constructing fights that did not play to the strengths of KSV, and KSV, they thought they had this done. How did we get the Varus? The Karma comp again, we won with this. But unfortunately, ROX Tigers had the solutions, and now we've seen that consistently Crown will have his champions banned. They leave open the Karma, and the Karma comps aren't working either. Backs against the wall for KSV. If they lose Game 2, they are very likely out of playoffs. MVP of Game 1 will be Lava. Fantastic performance, not even just in the KDA, but even just the Weaver's Walls.
The Weaver's Walls were so good.
They were so important to ROX Tigers winning game number 1.
Yeah, and that one Weaver's Wall that he decided not to take and just made sure that he kept Crown out of the fight was so beautiful. This one grabs him a flash from Crown as well. As you can see, over to the side. Hello, everyone. There's the flash, just dismantles the wall and is then able to take down the Karma.
That was just a great rotation. This was a teleport flank coming through from Linderang. Controlled so much space. Ruler or bust were the fights, but game the bust. That was the honest thing that happened this game. They couldn't make it happen until the final fight when it was too late. A great assertive Baron call as well. We saw one macro play, one teleport flank for a team fight, and a smart Baron call. That's the trifecta for winning any game of League of Legends. Especially one where ROX Tigers desperately trying to move to 9 match wins and basically confirm their spot for the playoffs if they are to win. Results would have to go so heavily against them, and they would have to lose to Jinair. Stop that from happening. Fights continue to go on, and this is the one where Ruler finally had the sort of fight he wanted, but it was too late. Too many items on the rest of ROX, and a well-deserved, hard-earned victory for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, you knew exactly what the ROX Tigers were trying to do in this team fight as well. It was Linderang being able to actually get in front after Key did all of his work, getting rid of Ruler. And despite the fact that it almost looked like Ruler was going to be able to get control, there's too many health bars on the side of the ROX Tigers. And they were able to once again take it over. So you can hear the music. See whose side it's going to be. It is going to be KSV. So looks like Ambition's going to step out and Haru is going to step back in. Haru's only victory that wasn't against Kongdu Monster was back in week 4, Papa Smithy. So really wanted to get a turnaround here for the young jungler on the side of KSV.
Hasn't been able to hit his strides in the way we know for Haru. A year ago in spring season, he came off CJ, put on to Samsung Galaxy and made them a contender in spring. Was right up there in terms of MVPs, 3rd, I believe, or 4th overall. But the Rengar days seem behind him. He's jumping on the Sejuani, which makes you wonder why he's playing over Ambition in many games. Ambition in game 1 was too far behind the play again, unfortunately, as her before ways turned against him. See what Haru can do. I'd love to see some Haru Olaf. That sounds like a fun one.
Could be an opportunity for him, but here we are. Champion select for game number 2. ROX now on the blue side. See whether KSV have the answers to stop them from being able to run it back with a composition that was similar. Whether the Varus is going to be banned this time around. Vel'Koz, once again, though, is going to hit the bench, as Crown's champion pool does generally need to be attacked.
It just feels like Crown's champion pool at the moment, and we know he's a player that's always had about...
puddle, should we call it about?
He's always had about 4, right? That's just how Crown plays a game. He tries to be a mastery player and has to a great degree succeeded over his career. Right now it feels like it's Varus, sorry, not Varus, the Vel'Koz. From there into the Karma, we know about that one, and Talia, given he's playing a lot of it in solo queue. Feels like those are the 3 he's truly playing around recently. His Azir also has been decent, but that's kind of the limit of the sky when it comes to Crown. Swain will see a ban this game.
Yeah.
We've seen it be most successful as a flex pick on red side, but it's not wanting to deal with it, especially because Cuvée took his best pick in the Gnar and was easily beaten in the side lane by the Swain in game 1.
Well, speaking of the Gnar, it is going to be still available. The Camille banned away. It could be an opportunity. ROX want to head towards it, but there is a jungle pool that has been not attacked at all, and as Gangplank gets taken away, KSV going to be looking at the Olaf and the Skarner. Potentially they could trade them. You can't pick both, and it has been a lot of Olaf-Skarner games that we've seen so far.
If Linderang's happy to take the Camille into the Gnar, you would expect
Varus once again available.
Like the premium jungler to be taken. I think it's Olaf or Varus, depending on how you look at this comp here if you're ROX Tigers. Those would be the 2 you'd consider as they show that maybe we'll see Lava return one day onto the champion that is now back in the pool. It might as well have been disabled on patch 8.4.
Yeah, 8.5, theoretically it's okay, but it's going to be the Scion locked in here for the ROX Tigers. Probably happy to go for one of these, get some burly tanks, and then put Songyun back on the Kog'Maw if they want to.
I'd love to see Varus Olaf as the first round here from KSV.
Absolutely. That's what it's going to be.
All right, wonderful. This is what I want to see.
They're actually answering us now.
I thought I would see KSV take away the Olaf, and then next round, the Scion, but now they get the Varus and also the champion that trivializes Varus the easiest on the same side. Okay, I like it from KSV so far.
Theoretically, you could just lock in Songwon's champion and Lava's champion here and just take Camille Galio if you want to. Of course, Galio has been nerfed a little bit on this patch, so it's not the must pick. The Sejuani still relatively strong. Was banned away in game number 1. It was by KSV, and Songwon going to hop back onto Comfort here in the Sedge.
I don't think Galio, just because you have Scion Flex pick, and
yeah,
I
don't want to pick it this round, yeah.
Scion mid lane's probably more robust a choice in most cases than the Galio, so maybe second round Galio, you want to take it, but right now I'd be surprised. Waiting to see what ROX do want to take, an AD carry is usually what we see in this spot, and they're going to roll back the Songyun favorite in the Kog'Maw.
Yep. May not have to build the QSS so early this time around because he's not going to be able to get any help from anyone as far as getting away from Haru's Olaf, but the Braum is going to be prioritized, so no solo lane is to be picked up here by KSV, making sure they have all the flexibility moving into the second half of the draft.
And you wonder what Crown has cooked up, because the Karma is a possibility in this game, could just be banned by ROX Tigers. They don't want to deal with it a second time. But if that one's not there, you wonder where he would go.
Talia Karma could just be banned here by ROX and just make Crown pick something that's a little bit less of a power pick for him.
The surprise in game 1 was they let KSV have their best champs and were just like, huh, we got the counter. So we'll wait and see if that is actually the read from ROX. I agree, that would be the two I would expect if you want to do shut down Crown, which has usually been the best way or easiest way to have a victory, and they seem more concerned with the top lane pool.
I'm glad to see the Ornn banned away. It means that that Scion isn't going to meet his other red friend up there for the most boring laning phase ever, so I'm okay with it. The Anivia respect ban against Lava as well. Looks like KSV have been doing their homework with what Lava has been spamming in solo queue. Damn, he's been doing well on the champion.
Gnar would be the obvious ban here if you wanted to ban out Cuvée when it comes to his first round of picks. Camille already off the board. Waiting to see what the decision is from ROX Tigers, but they've had a different read on the draft so far. And they're just going to ban away the Karma. So they don't want to roll back Karma because Karma Olaf Varus sounds very scary. With the AoE movement speed and shielding. They'll leave open the Gnar, which could be taken for KSV if they want to shield Crown's pick more. KSV have also shown they're happy to go for the very risky final pick Fiora and other choices on red side.
This is really dangerous, actually. Locking in the Gnar, which they are going to do. Cuvée wants to take his best champion. Linderung also would be happy if they're going to flex that Scion into the mid lane. But now the Talia is an option if Linderung is going to be on the Scion. And then what does Crown actually take into the mid lane is the question. I just feel like Talia makes so much sense. I know, you know, the mid lane Scion works incredibly well.
Oh, baby, are they going full LPL? Okay.
This is some laning phase.
It could be mid lane as well. We'll wait and see where this Lulu is going, because Doinby's been playing Lulu mid again over in the LPL.
Plays everything.
I know, but people are watching the LPL. You can see.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for the final pick here from ROX Tigers. What we doing? It's going to be the Kog'Maw Lulu.
I love Kog'Maw Lulu as a lane as well.
They're rolling it back, a range support also for a bit more lane presence onto the Braum, and they'll take away the Talia. It's going to be top lane Scion. We'll have some options to push him in. The Talia once again. Wonderful weave as well, so bring that back in game number 1. And where does Crown go? Where does he go in this scenario? Is it Victor time for Crown?
Wolf could potentially be.
I haven't seen it in the LCK outside from one game from Edge, and that was a loss.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the greatest, as this would be rolling it back quite a distance. As it's going to be the Void combo. Seen the Varus and the Malzahar paired up together so many times. KT rolls to do it a lot. KSV also do it a lot, but this is certainly not a priority mid laner at the moment on the current patch. So we'll see what Crown's going to be able to make happen.
First Malzahar we've seen on patch 8.4 onwards. I think the items are in a pretty good spot for him. A good item in Liandry's and Morellamacon. Both of them are good pickups with how his play patterns go. It gives him a pick comp through the mid lane, and this empowers Haru. This is a very strong draft for Haru to take over the game. Not the sort of draft that would fit Ambition's play style, but if Haru rolls it back and plays aggressive, a lot of options to play through. I feel like in team fights, they're going to be heavily outscaled when it comes to the fact that Kog'Maw doesn't care about a Malzahar when he has Lulu and other options on his team. So it's going to be a tricky one here. I feel like KSV need to play around the suppression, need to play around the Malzahar and also the bot lane. Varus Braum, one of our strongest 2v2s. Play aggressively with Haru. When able to play to their win conditions in game 1, they should have some pressure in top side with the Gnar. The Malzahar level 6 will give implied pressure in mid lane, and Varus Braum will be the winning 2v2 in the bot side. So it's very interesting how this draft has come together, but the unknown factor is if they can play around an aggressive jungler, because with Ambition they don't have one, and with Haru he's been up and down in performance.
Who knows what we're going to get? That's what I was going to say, is which Haru version is going to hop onto the Rift. I want to see the Haru of old that can actually bring us to a game 3 here. KSV taking on ROX Tigers. Let's do it. Game 2 right now. Starting to get a few more fans here in the audience as game number 2 rolls around. A little bit harder to get out of work, you know, on a Wednesday night.
And you and I know that there is also some pretty severe weather conditions.
Yeah, why was it snowing today?
Yeah,
in Seoul.
I walked to the bathroom and we're actually on floor 14 of a very tall building here for the Sangam East Stadium, and we could see outside with clear windows. It is snowing up a snowstorm today.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows if we'll ever get home. We might have to walk, Atlas.
We will certainly be doing some trudging, theoretically. But hopefully we're going to be hanging around here for a whole lot longer. Still another series after this. And now KSV and ROX trying to give us our money's worth, with KSV picking up the Olaf, handing it to Haru. Will it be the Haru that we all know and love? The Haru that can carry games and get things done in the early game.
He's definitely ready to go in this game. It's an excellent draft for Olaf to be a hard carry. Olaf buffed on patch 8.5, which of course, he was already first round champion. First pick, first ban status for the majority of 8.4 after Peanut ran out and was legendary.
Yeah.
But even stronger now on this patch. Not traditionally a pick that KSV would excel with when Ambition is playing. If we go back to old identities, and we have to say that because Haru has not been aggressive, or at least been controlled aggressive this season. The Camille was the last aggressive pick he played, and it was one to forget from the KSV sub-jungler, so wait and see what it means here on patch 8.5, and then Crown has had to go very deep. He had to reach for the Malzahar in this game. That, again, first time we're seeing it post 8.4. There's some nice item choices, but with all the nerfs over time, it is an interesting choice and maybe does speak to the champion pool issues that Crown has really always had as a mid laner.
Yeah, could be a little bit unfortunate, but one thing I do really like about it is that Lava may be priced into picking up an early QSS, meaning that those roaming plays aren't going to be as potent. Songwon, okay, this is a little bit of a turnaround as the red buff is going to go over to Haru, but the aggressive Piggy going to make her way into the jungle, and that's because Lava has control of the mid lane.
Yeah, they're playing around the mid lane control, as we said. Control in the mid lane for Crown post 6 with Flash Ult, but previous to that, Lava going to be easily able to push him up, so for once Olaf has the shoe on the other foot.
Well, Haru is at least able to claim his Raptor camp without losing too much. Ward should go down here, and Lava playing once again this heavy roaming style, even as early as 3 minutes into the game.
Now the mid lane is back away, and it's risky to take this Rift Herald if you're Sungwon.
It's also, well, not Rift Herald, but the Rift Scuttler is going to go down. And it's always pretty easy to secure, but you're right, it does feel risky against the Olaf, who could potentially just kill you.
Yes, he does, of course, have the heavy passive damage to clear it very quickly, and the disengage from the Arctic Assault. Sejuani is seen as the safest tank to take into the Olaf because she can pop over a wall and get away from the axe spam that does take down other junglers or force them to flash.
Well, so far it is Haru just doing hard farm. That's going to be a full clear to start this one off, as the Krug camp still not taken here by Songwon. Bottom lane pushing back and forth. It's going to change the identity of this lane for ROX a lot by having the Lulu down here instead of a melee support.
Speaking of people down here.
Well, Lava is going to turn up. Oh, Ruler, nice sidestep, but he's still going to take a lot of damage. Seismic Shove could have spelled his death, but now he doesn't actually have to even expend the flash to get out of the way.
Very nice roam timing with the ROX surfing passive. His Crown's going to walk over and try to get as much damage as possible onto lava.
Key, pretty impressive stats on this Lulu so far, but I guess 9 games isn't a whole lot throughout his career.
I love how Crown was like, I don't really want to back, so I'm not going to use any spells on you and keep my mana. This gives him 3 autos from the Malzahar. Some void claps, we'll call them.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Zaharu, he's going to be able to steal away this Raptor Cam. Someone comes in and says that was rude. Even the last Undertow is going to be able to do it. There's Popcorn Chicken.
Oh, no!
Oh, no, the resetted Popcorn Chicken. The worst kind. Okay, Linderung going to be able to clear out this minion wave. Don't really need to talk about this lane, as that's a little bit harder to hit now.
At least he has a Comet. His Comet, so that's the thing we've been seeing more and more this week, is a movement away from Glacial Augment. In a ranged matchup, Comet makes more sense. Nara is most of the laning phase going to be on the squishy side, basically a Teemo impersonator when he's in the mini Nara form.
Yep, KorJJ, he's going to move out into this lane and try and control Sangyun and Key. Key was off trying to help out towards the bottom side. Sangyun losing out in this lane a little bit more than it was last time around, but this should even out now that this wave can be eaten up by the Kog'Maw.
Kind of a weird thing where, after all the nerfs to Lulu, she's kind of one of the weaker ranged laning supports. If you think of the ranged supports that we see in the meta, it's not quite Zyra when it comes to all-in. She does scale really well for a ranged support, especially with her BFF in Kog'Maw. Has a lot of options as the game goes on, so it's usually a surprise for a double range lane to be losing to a ranged support and a melee support. Brahm's got a good laning phase, and Varus certainly heavily outtrades the Kog'Maw in the early game, so it's still going to be laning advantage to Ruler and KorJJ.
Yeah. You can see that illustrated in the 7 CS that is the lead.
He's greeting so hard for the CS, by the way.
It's pretty nice, though. He's going to get a bunch of money.
He got the early back, came back with the Nomad's Medallion. So a small change. Of course, guys, we are on 8.5 with hotfix. If you want to know the full patch info, the hotfix is there, so no bandits. You cannot get free gold against a melee support like you could before. That wasn't nerfed because of ranged melee supports. Sorry, ranged supports. That was nerfed because of all the laners stealing away the support itemization.
Yep.
But also, Kai'Sa is enabled, in case you're wondering. Disabled in other regions, but is enabled over in Korea.
Yeah, and it's not the same as your solo queue games. I know she should be pick or ban status, but we're not on 8.6 just yet.
I don't think they are either. I think Riot's having some slow rollouts. We do have 8.6 in Korea.
Yeah, okay. Papa having played her already, making use of it.
Confirmed busted.
Did it feel like Release Diana, where it's just so much a free win? Is KorJJ looking to go aggressive, but doesn't find the Winter's Bite, and Key immediately turns it around, gets a bit of damage back.
I could see the look in your eyes where you're like, am I queuing tonight?
Yeah, baby.
She's going to be banned.
Damn it.
She's really strong, but the confirmation for that will be rolled out later. From what I understand, you know, given patch cycles, our playoffs start next Saturday, so we might actually be on 8.6 for playoffs, which is pretty hype.
That would be certainly very exciting.
We
don't want to get everyone's hopes up just yet.
We don't get the full information on things like that, but just trying to put 2 and 2 together there.
Yeah, so much value here for Haru, able to steal away the Raptor Camp. 2 spawns in a row. A lot of experience available to Haru. Should have a level advantage relatively soon.
And we already mentioned that now that Crown has level 6, it's time to start invading. It's time to start contesting the Sejuani, getting pressure in the red side jungle. Because if they can control the red side jungle of ROX Tigers, then it gets harder for Taliyah to run bot lane. They can potentially set up a turret take or a Drake take, as the Drake has started.
Ah, Songwon?
It's a bit early.
Yeah, this is an odd one, as the Arctic Assault is going to get him out, of course. That is a QSS on Lava, though. Has got level 7. Could Weaver's Wall his way down, but then he's got a Doran's Ring worth of damage to try and contest, and that's going to be nothing, so that means KSV easily take down the first Mountain Drake of the game.
If you think about it, playing to your items is something that we don't always see in League of Legends. We see people pick matchups and think about them, conceptualize them, then go for a build like QSS, start fighting, and wonder why they have no damage. That even happens at the professional level.
Yeah.
We see people playing tier Varus bot lane and getting heavy ganks by their team, but not having the damage to actually pick up kills. What I like from ROX is they look at the enemy team and say, what does it want to do? It wants to invade with Olaf, who gets lane pressure around mid after the Malzahar ult comes up. Rush QSS, stop that from being a lockdown onto the mid lane and chase down onto Taliyah. But then the Drake comes up, which is the next level by KSV saying, well, they don't have battle stats, I'd take a Drake. ROX Tigers don't opt into a fight that they might have been able to turn, because that wouldn't be playing towards their items, so it's smart of them to back away, just be defensive. They've gone QSS to stop people dying. Don't give over some deaths as well. Going for a Drake you are set up to fail at.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. ROX playing intelligently this time around, as the Wolf Camp is going to follow Songwon over here, but Lava says, I want the blue buff now. See whether he goes back after this. It's been a while since he's shopped, and he's only got a sick headband and wedding ring. Songwon moving his way over. Haru is discovered. Okay, Crown. Really go for the flash. No, he's not going to. Songwon's going to escape this one A-okay. The passive would have helped him out. If Crown had have tried anything.
Very tense around the mid lane because, like you mentioned, KSV are fishing with their strong Olaf and their strong Malzahar.
And this is the time of the game where KSV really do want to be making things happen. This comp skirmishes so nicely. At about this point, not a lot of options being given to them, though. There's ROX, like you say. Intelligent, continuing what has been really smart in game number 1, moving it into game number 2.
Itemization-wise, KSV still are going to be loving the adaptive helms in this particular game, as both threats are going to be going into the Rage Blade, and of course they're stacking AP onto the Talia. Still going to be nice item answers, but ROX was so smart at fighting in game number 1 that they're set up to do so again in game number 2. Songwon going to be very early scouted here by KSV.
Yep, but you can see 4 men on the top side of the map, and they're just going to try and shove this one down. Roar the Slayer is going to land. A lot of wave clear comes in. Now it's a race to see who can take this first turret. As Cube, he's just exited. He's noping out of this situation, and this could be the swing back that ROX were looking for. It's 3 versus 4 as far as the push, but I think the ROX have got it.
And you have to ask why as well, as we'll hold the explanation for the race. It's a close one.
Oh, it's actually very close. I think KSV might be able to do it on the bottom side. No! First turret's going to go over to the ROX Tigers, so a bit of extra gold. And that's going to even things out as the map is going to be opened up on both sides.
But why are ROX Tigers doing it? The Gnar was doing, Sion was doing fine in the Gnar matchup. Think about how this game should play out. ROX Tigers make this decision because we've already mentioned that piling on and trying to take down the members of ROX in the early game with the Malzahar, with skirmishing, is what they want to do. They opt out of lane and just go topside to get more gold onto their carries. Because what does it mirror when we see 4 people hitting a turret, including a jungler? It reminds you of lane swaps. Lane swaps are about playing around power spikes and item and champion power spikes and just getting immediate gold. ROX Tigers want to get as much immediate gold onto the Kog'Maw and the Talia as possible, as bloodlessly as possible, and that's why they lane swap first, because they get the gold, they back away, and there's no ability for Olaf and Malzahar to take over the early.
And it's also, like, there's an extra layer to this as well, because it allowed ROX to get some vision control on the top side of the map, which is where they want to be fighting around, because Shelly has spawned, and this could be the place where ROX want to try and gather their next option. Having control of top side of the map could be a real opportunity for them as well. That's where the objective is. There's no dragon just yet. It's in 2 minutes' time. They can move down and try and grab some control down there as well. So despite the vision that was handed over to KSV, bottom lane isn't going to be the option for ROX Tigers. They're going to have Linderung down there, but he can turn into a choo-choo train and get himself out.
I like how Songyun is freezing the wave topside. Again, it's how do we get the safest Rage Blade and second item, preferably, onto Kog'Maw before any action happens possible, is the mantra here from ROX Tigers. Probably going to be Ardent Sensor Rush onto Key, but it could also be another visit there. When you see the amp term after the Forbidden Idol, it's going to be the Ardent Sensor Rush.
Yeah, Ardent Sensor is the option here.
It's definitely going to be about 80 carries being empowered, and this 80 carry is going to have a Lulu in his pocket, which traditionally for the Kog'Maw has been a free victory. So getting the gold, being safe, just playing around the Kog'Maw power spike, that's all ROX want to do, and they haven't been greedy in the execution, which is good to see. This is a very well-drilled team, because I think they're playing out this game different to any other team in the LCK when we've seen these kind of riskier scaling comps when there's a big scaling early game advantage to KSV. It's good to see them come in with a plan. They need one. They do desperately want to win this series today.
Yeah, just feels like a game played without any ego at all. They're just making sure that they only take the fights that they're going to win like a well-oiled machine. Songyun going to continue trying to defend this tower, but it's going to get more and more difficult as KSV move their way up. Good control ward positioning. Things are going to get swept. Okay, I'll see where the lava was actually caught out there as Weaver's Wall is an opportunity. Not going to be opted into. So this is nullified. ROX Tigers, the longer they hold this game even, the better they feel. This Cogmore is going to be so empowered.
He's behind in CS, but that's because he went for the lane swap first. Of course he's going to be behind in CS. It was about the push and getting gold onto all the members. The vision control very heavily on the side of KSV. But they haven't even taken the second Drake yet. It's been spawned for a little while, and it probably is going to be visited now. That's because Varus and Braum were on the top side, so no fast solo of the Drake coming through from the Olaf. It's all about delay. They're happy to take small disadvantages in the early game and just not open themselves up to any mistakes. That means that KSV, though, able to lock and load with a bit of extra objectives.
Yeah, that bot side vision is going to pay off here as the Mountain Drake will be taken down, but ROX happy to concede. Dragons at this point, understanding that they're not very strong in that area.
And he is the big winner here, Atlas. Look at that, an Ardent Sensor already.
15 minutes into the game.
Is CoreJJ going to be inching towards just his first item, you know, just towards the full evolution of the Targons. So for now, going to be difficult. This is the time where ROX will start walking up and taking fights, but they're not face-checking and dying instantly to a Malzahar. Definitely fights where Sangyun's able to do very, very well. A lot of scaling on the Ardent Sensor these days, but still, you're going to have the Phantom hit coming through from the Rage Blade and the Ardent Sensor on hit damage and attack speed. That means the little Pugmore going to start packing a punch.
Yeah, as soon as you press that W and get an Ardent Sensor, you're feeling damn good. Stacking up that Rage Blade and getting it all up there with the damage. But 20 minutes is the mark that we're going to be looking at here because KSV have 2 Mountain Drakes. They have a composition that does want to fight sooner rather than later.
Are they going to have a free Rift Herald? Is a question I'm going to ask pre-20 minutes because that is something that would actually start to accelerate the game.
Well, Chains of Corruption going to miss. Arctic Assault going to answer that quite nicely. There's now Lava. He's moving his way over, and here's the Fight Ruler going to get the flash in there, but he can't flash over the wall now, and Haru can't make his way in. Hi, Linderung. He's got his Frozen Heart already there. Sidesteps, but it's a good Gnar into the wall. They get one as Crown is able to lock down the Sejuani, and now KSV are starting the fight. They get the Cogmore, and no more options for ROX Tigers, despite what looked like a great wall from Lava.
It looked like the great timing, but Sangyun was almost out of mana. That was the big problem for them. They didn't have the vision control with a control ward in that River Brush. They really wanted to stop there from being a free Rift Herald take, but the cost is pretty severe. They will get the Rift Herald. They will get 2 kills. First mistake of the series, you'd say, for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, and it was a misexecution of a team fight that looked like it started off exactly the way they wanted it to. It was just the pile-on for KSV and the fact that Haru had a flash to get himself into the battle. Nicely played from Crown there as well, just to make sure that the ultimate was ready.
We're going to watch the replay and note the Sangyun already low on mana. Basically doesn't get much involvement in the fight. There's a control ward limiting their vision as well. Nice execution from KSV. They jump in, they delete, they're able to make things happen. There, everything's exposed. Lava, who was often not involved in fights in Game 1, but being able to have pivotal Weaver's walls was enough. Needs to be there in this game. It's actually gone for more combat earlier. No Archangels this time. He's actually going to the Ludens for a little bit of extra punch. But there's the Rift Herald. There's the first mid lane turret of the game. KSV are in control in a way they never managed to be in game number 1.
Yeah, almost a 2,000 gold lead here for KSV. It's dangerous times. It did look like all of the stars had aligned for how ROX wanted to play out that fight. They just weren't strong enough at that point. And Cuvee, 3-man Gnar in the brush, was exactly what they needed to make sure that Sangyun couldn't get in there. And now he has no flash, Ruler as well. See whether KSV are going to be able to line up another battle that's going to help them out.
First thought is that right now, job for ROX Tigers to get the map control back. That was fine to seed 5 minutes ago, but increasingly is getting difficult to be completely abandoned to the side of KSV. They're walking up here onto a brush we know had a control ward in it, but Malzahar backed away. There's a Scion ultimate.
That really good Unbreakable is going to come down as Linderung. Yeah, he's just going to boop into the wall. Okay, Haru makes his way up, but Ragnarok is invested in this, so they trade a wall for a red glowing Brolaf. And now KSV looking for the re-engage. They don't get any silences. Now Cuvee with not a lot of Narbar comes over to the side and gets slowed. So ROX successful disengage is going to still spell an advantage for KSV, positionally at least on the map. CoreJJ actually has to flash. Unfortunate as he stands behind Ruler to get over the wall.
For a quick pick, because they knew there had been the disengage from Crown. Back away. Nothing further gained, but nothing further lost either from the side of ROX. Ultimate from Linderong went wide, and that really stalled out any real hopes for an engage there for ROX Tigers. And it seems like the next place of battle will be the Infernal Drake, which spawns in a minute 20. Again, finding a place where they can get some vision has been so important for ROX after giving it up earlier. A couple of control wards, 3 in fact, in the top side, but they don't get a kill from that vision. Now I need to go back, pick up some control wards, and try to get similar vision around the Infernal.
Well, we got pings out from KSV onto the Kog'Maw in the mid lane. Baron is going to spawn in 15 seconds. It was an early Baron play that ROX were able to capitalize on very well in game number 1. This time we've got control ward vision from KSV to make sure that isn't going to happen again. Feels like the adjustments have been done by KSV moving into game number 2. The 2-0 lead feels like a KSV game. 20 minutes in, only got 2 kills, but it's really interesting at how both of these teams are playing out their compositions. It's the ROX Tigers that look so much better than what they looked like against Kongdu Monster, and a KSV that's actually fighting back. Felt like they weren't against SKT in that series.
Picking up Double Mountain, and soon to be an Infernal if they take it would really make their Baron threat massive, and they have a fantastic Baron taking team. With the Malzahar still having the Voidlings and being able to make it a very safe take.
Not to mention Ruler as well, having a lot of damage.
Got the vision control already. They got the map control implied from all their pick champions. So free objectives are kind of all over the map depending on how big they are and what ROX is willing to surrender. Seems like for now, the surrendering will be on the Infernal. Going to be very quickly picked up by the side of KSV. Now they cannot afford to ever surrender vision on the top side. Otherwise, Baron will almost be a formality for KSV.
Well, this is exactly what ROX sacrificed in order to get that vision available. You said that they needed to try and wrestle it back. Well, when the Infernal Drake is being taken is the only opportunity that they have, given the fact that KSV had so much more power. Now they're going to make their way in with 5 members, try and see what they can do. The Weaver's Wall is now going to be pivotal, making this work. And Core JJ, we're going to be looking at him to get the Unbreakable up in time.
KSV back away, they deal with some minions, that means ROX can move forward. This is always how it goes, a bit like boxing, one jab and then another, everyone taking their turns. ROX Tigers moving up, they want to pick up their second toe of the game. Looking for a bit of poke.
Yep, some poke damage coming in there. And in goes Songwon, actually just misses the ultimate straight up. Chains of Corruption comes in, gets a stun onto the Kog'Maw, who uses the heal and not going to get stunned up enough. He managed to get at least some distance. Cube, great Mega Gnar timing as he hops his way over. Sion going to get his way out with the ultimate. Ooh, it's such tense times here in the mid lane.
What does it mean? Because KSV can kite up towards the Baron. They don't know exactly how much vision there is, but they're going to be able to clear out at least one of the wards. They're baiting now around the Baron buff.
Not a lot of sweeping available, but control wards are still in the inventory of KSV.
Felt like a high-risk, low-reward play when they looked for the turret dive. It seemed very unrealistic to be able to take down someone quickly, even in a 5v4, as Malzahar was going to be slow to rotate. After the miss, of course, it was pure disengage. On the side of ROX, they move back. They've, again, found it hard to get any vision control around the Baron. They need to continue to play that game. They have a range support, not a melee support, so they need Sion or the Sejuani to walk up and start face-checking. The Sejuani's only level 10 and definitely not the most tanky. So for now, difficult for the side of ROX Tigers to get the vision control where they want, which right now represents around the Baron.
Yeah. Well, we got Kog'Maw going back. Does manage to finish off the recurve bow, but he's behind once again as the QSS did need to be opted into. Nether Grasp, just too good coming out from Crown. That's going to be 2 QSSs already picked up by the ROX Tigers. So you look at that gold lead. About 2,000, but it feels a little bit more like 5,000 given the fact that there's a lot of money that's going towards an item that had to be purchased and isn't going to go into damage. Okay. Arctic Assault does get Songwon away from potential engage options from KSV. But Ruler is just feeling so good this game. 2-item spike comes in very quickly, very easily for the Varus.
Implied lead is bigger than the gold lead we see. As Lava might just be burst here, QSS is going to be used.
Yeah, but that means they don't have it available for the next fight.
It's an 1,800 gold lead, but remember, it's also a significant amount of gold spent on QSS, so the battle stats are not there for the side of ROX. They're still defending, but KSV have gone zero-sum straight into damage and have control of the map. Double mountain. Calculations get a bit crazy when it comes to how much Baron damage they do. So very easy for ROX Tigers to be hurried, fight when they don't have their items, and just lose the game. This is where KSV want to strike.
Yep. Control ward once again going to be wasted here as ROX are going through all of their options as far as checking these brushes. Cubate, Meganar so incredibly close as Linderung may actually have to use that ultimate yet again. They're looking to turn this one around as Songyun doing a lot of damage in the front line. He gets hit by the ultimate, but is it going to be enough here as Key is trying to help him? A big Gnar comes down, but Songyun, perfect positioning off to the side. Songwon, he's going to be the first casualty of this fight, but you need to look at the Kog'Maw and see whether he can get the damage done. Crown hit by the knockup from Linderung, but he's running out of health bar, as is Lava, and ROX Tigers are pushed back and lose their jungle. This should be Baron.
Yeah, ROX doesn't have the damage items yet onto the Kog'Maw to make a fight that would otherwise work. Again, almost a complete 180, what we saw in game number 1. But we see KSV start the Baron with a teleport back. First thought is going to be no, they're actually onto it. Remember, they have all this extra damage amp. They're getting it below 5,000. It's going to be dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of low health bars, but it doesn't seem to matter. ROX just didn't get there in time. Okay, Crown, he's going to get booped back with the seismic shove, but Lava can't get too close. KSV still managed to disengage. Feels like game 1 all over again about where the power is being utilized.
As I mentioned, a 180, because this time it's on the side of KSV. They're choosing the right fights as well. That means the ROX Tigers, before the items are being complete, just don't have the damage to win these fights. They're setting them up well, they're initiating them well, they're playing them out well, but because of the draft and because KSV were able to stack things like the mountains and infernals, they don't have a fallback plan, and they're being forced to fight when KSV are relatively at their strongest. They back away. First Baron goes to the side of KSV. I look to lose the minimum. They should have their items together by the time the second Baron spawns. The first Baron well executed by Haru and KSV.
Yeah, really nicely played, understanding their timing windows and also understanding what resources were on the side of ROX Tigers, because they just had no options as far as seeing whether that Baron was going down or what was happening there. Scryer's Bloom a little bit too late. As now Ruler should be the first turret killer of this Baron buff. Songyun getting some farm on the bottom side of the map. He's actually ahead in terms of that, but still has to go back. We'll see whether the Wit's End is actually available now, and it is. So 2 items finally picked up by Songyun. Songwon getting himself around the side here. KSV are taking so much with this Baron. Inner turret going to fall as Ruler just pushes it up top. Going to be taken one after the other. They should be able to rotate around to this mid lane if they want to grab that. ROX just understand that they don't have a lot of options.
It's been good to see the mindset shift from the side of KSV. They have played around the Olaf in a way that we wanted to see. It's only translated into a 6-7 camp lead when it comes to CS, but they played around pressure, they've owned the map, and now ROX Tigers are getting their items together. Does it matter when double adaptive helm is there to answer cleanly the very heavy magic damage that the Ardent censored up Kog'Maw is going to be doing in this game? There really is no other threat. Void Staff is going to be the second item, super delayed, coming through from the Talia because of the QSS, and KSV have been able to stack up a lot of damage, so it's looking so tricky for ROX Tigers to get the fight they want.
And always it just feels like Ruler is 1 damage item ahead of Songyun as well, so the Varus just feels like a much more potent threat in these fights. Despite being 30 CS down, he's got his Blade of the Ruin King. He didn't have to build the QSS. It's a very early Void Staff. Feels like desperation here from Lava, just very eager to have some sort of relevance, but against these adaptive helms, it's so hard to do any damage.
It is a good time to build Void Staff because he does have flat shred coming through from the Kog'Maw, so there is synergy between the two when it comes to Talia actually being able to do damage to the front line. And it's only the front line that has that magic. It's not there as much for the rest of the team. There is still a fight the ROX Tigers win because of all the damage amp coming through, the Ardent Sensor and the picks, but with the KSV, they're not interested in fighting. They're trying to take down the turret in a bloodless push.
Yeah, they are going to be able to grab the last inner turret of the game, so that's 6-1. And the gold lead is ever extending. 6,000 gold now for KSV. ROX, they've got options moving later into the game, but not if they're going to fall this far behind. This feels like tempo is so far in favor of KSV, it's going to be so difficult for the ROX Tigers to actually claw anything back. It's Gonna have to be some Jin Air levels of stall to try and help this one out. Thankfully, we are on patch 8.5 for you ROX fans, because those banded up Baron minions are no longer going to be that threat, as you've been talking about earlier on, Papa Spin.
And the Jin Air fans can be happy because the chance of the game going over an hour went up. Hooray! Everyone rejoices.
There we go.
The Fiestas may indeed come back. That's what we always want here over in the LCK.
We just want more League of Legends, guys.
We definitely give you the most League of Legends.
We do.
In English, at least. The LPL has more games, but of course not all the games being broadcast, sadly.
How do you guys feel about 39-minute First Bloods? Because we've got the rematch of that particular series coming up after this.
I love how, of all the things you could use to sell the series, the fact that it had a 39-minute First Blood, ignoring the fact that it's our first sighting of the newly crowned first place team that will play in the grand final.
Yeah.
Ignoring all the stars, you're just like, hey man, how about 39-minute First Bloods?
Look, if you're a big fan of League of Legends, I just feel like that's the way to do it, because you know you're going to get your money's worth by watching that series. Come on, man. I know, and we can talk about all the other things, but it's sometimes exciting.
Well, sometimes exciting, one of the subtitles of the LCK this season.
Other times, potentially not so much, but at least we're going to talk about fun things.
Seeing Sang-yoon really would love a Hurricane. That's what he's going to probably buy with his Zeal item to hope to actually shred the front line so that the Talia can do damage. Still skeptical on that because, again, she's fairly low damage. But there is the Hurricane. So, don't know how much better it gets with further items unless you start going for Blade of the Ruin King, Infinity Edge if you are the Cogmore.
Yeah, still an option. But Mercurial Scimitar probably going to be next. So you're not going to be able to fit those two in. You just don't have enough room for it unless you veto the Ninja Tabi that he's already picked up. Fight in this sort of area is dangerous.
And Malzahar just wants to ult Lulu and kill her instantly, and there will be no value from the Lulu-Cog synergy.
Yep, and the red buff is going to go very easily over to Ruler, who does so much damn damage. See, Baron's going to be up in another minute. Cuvée just going to keep things shoved on the bottom side. They've got the strangulation method working out very well here for KSV.
We might set a record. We've got 4 adaptive helms in this game. A great item for
so
both
much adaptation.
teams. It is. Great helms on both sides. And of command. Frustrating. But he's going to be thrown down.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a worry. This bottom lane inhibitor turret yet to be broken, yet to take too much damage either. But KSV just controls so much vision. On the top side, this Baron should just go straight into their open arms. I don't know how easily ROX are going to be able to face check this one.
I think they kind of have to just go through the river and have Sion walk forwards and then ult if he's able to do so. That's really the only way they have to contest, because you go through these narrow chokes and bad things can certainly happen. So much darkness. That buffed up Nocturne ultimate might last for multiple minutes here every time KSV disengage from a minion wave. Getting an idea of what ROX Tigers are feeling, that creeping dread, as that seemed like a weird time to use.
Yeah, the redemption just for the topper. Now the Cogmore going to get silenced in just a little while. There comes down. Lava is actually here. It is a true 5v5. Yeah, it's looking like yeah, the 2-man call came in, but the blue ward is going to be there. Yeah, they're just going to continue. Okay, it's down to half health. Ruler just does so much damage. Blade of the Ruin King as well as double Mountain Drake, and that's just going to be destroyed. Now the ROX Tigers out of position as Linderung has to use the ult to try and escape. Thankfully, there's some pebbles down so that the follow-up isn't there from KSV, but ROX, they're going to feel robbed by that one.
The fact that Haru could just stay on it, they were like, oh, cool, you know about this? We're still doing it. Shows you the speed. So they were able to take down that Baron. They push through mid lane. Want to break the base, seems very likely, unless we see a heroic defense.
Yep, Sang-yoon just so much magic damage, so can't get through these melee minions. Banner of Command is in there. Ultimate is going to land as they do get the flick back, but the value on that Unbreakable is very, very high. And CoreJJ only takes half of his health bar, and now the base is broken. Inhibitor in the mid lane as well is going to go down. Remember, guys, if KSV win this, it means that they remain ahead of the ROX Tigers as far as the standings.
It's all about match victories, honestly. To the winner the spoils. The winner might be crowned very soon.
Yeah, they're actually looking to push this one, continue getting forward onto this last remaining Nexus turret. ROX Tigers just don't feel like they're strong enough to get any fight that they're looking for, and Ruler is so damn strong. This bannered up Baron minion, it may not do as much damage, but it also still takes about nothing. Especially from the Talia, who was the only one with the range. Yeah, Living Artillery doesn't do anything, and the Nexus is just going to get taken down. KSV They're paying PvE League of Legends 3 kills that game, and they just wander up the mid lane and win.
And they managed to do it with a smart plan around Haru's Olaf. Loved the first round drop. So excited. They finally committed to the Olaf with an aggressive-minded jungler like Haru. And this was the clean game they set themselves up for in game number 1, but couldn't execute on. Execution here a lot smarter. Even though we loved to see the lane swap, and we saw the ROX Tigers try to get the gold onto the Cogmore, try to get themselves online, they were then strangled out of any map control. I don't even know if they went past the river in the last 25 minutes of the game. And it also ends fast because KSV are able to read the situation and understand, hey, wait, we can just end. We don't even need to recall.
Yeah.
At 33 minutes with 5 members alive, we still end the game.
Yeah, well, 2 games so far, 2 Olaf victories. See whether he's going to be banned away as we move to game number 3. Now, a lot of options on the table as far as what you want to ban away. Lava didn't manage to get the work done on the Talia this time. Do they still want to look to deny that away from Crown as we head towards game number 3 as well? Oh my goodness, so many questions. Red side also going to be a big deal because picking up wins one after the other, counterpick looking important in this series.
Do we see 3 games of double Rage Blade 80 carry, or does someone go somewhere different? Because we've seen a mis-execution into a great execution by KSV. Who has the fallback option? It's a best of 1, largely for playoff lives. It's hard to see both these teams going through. It would require a lot of other results to go their way. So the win of the spoils, the playoffs on the line. Feels like we've already got the playoffs early, just given how much tension there is between KSV and ROX.
Yeah, and given the fact that both performances in the victories looked great out of both of these teams, calculation coming in, ROX still looking like they understood what their composition did. Unfortunately, they couldn't actually make it work the first time round, and it was snowballed from there expertly by KSV. It's high-level League of Legends. I'm excited to see what Game 3 brings because it feels like both of these teams are now warmed up and know what they can do to achieve the victory that they're looking for. But guys, short break, back for game number 3, the deciding game